Chapter 20, Big Wins. Life has a lot of edges. Happiness is all well and good until the big, bad wolf of stormy, overwhelming emotion shows up at the door, huffing and puffing. Where is happiness in the middle of a hurricane? We get swept away a lot and frequently for long periods of time. We get stuck in our own anger and our own self-righteousness. We buy into the emotional storyline of the script the playwright in our head is writing for us to play our part with zero self-examination. We get what sailors call knocked down. Our mast and sail flattens to the ocean. It takes presence, practice, humor, and gentleness to deepen our keel, which self-corrects the boat to a calmer view of situations. When the winds subside even a little, we, the boat, right ourselves. A certain strength and wisdom come from knowing that nothing lasts, not the most intense temper tantrum, not even a Category 5 hurricane. Even our juiciest self-righteous tirades can't be counted on to stay there from one day to the next. The Dalai Lama, one of the most amazing humans I've ever met, was asked whether he gets angry. He said yes, but explained that the anger doesn't stay around very long. Anger comes and goes because there's no huge sponge called me absorbing it. I like the analogy of a windsock. The wind of anger just blows through. To reach that level of understanding and accomplishment, there are a number of skillful means we can learn to apply so when the big winds of mental and emotional duress blow through, we're prepared. I've not painted this happiness journey as a stroll in the woods. It's for the Olympic level curious and disciplined. In my life, I have the blessing of a mate who has the same priorities I do and knows how difficult it is to get out of our own way. One step, fall on your face. Get up, start again. There are two important aspects to training oneself to be healthy enough to let go into joy. One happens on the battlefield itself, and the other sharpens your weapons and your understanding of the enemy. The contraction into hurt, pain, fury, sadness, blame, anger, rage. The usual suspects. Here are some techniques. All of them sometimes work and all sometimes fail. First, let's admit that life is complicated, and we've all been wounded. No one leaves this planet without some bruises. We form elaborate stories around pain to try to make sense of it and to heal. All kinds of relatively innocuous things, words in movies, smells, symbols, reminders of limited variety can poke at these wounds, these really vivid, painful stories. Eckhart Tolle refers to this as a pain body, an identity founded on separatedness and pain that takes residence in our physical bodies. Buddhists call this ignorance, when we delude ourselves by abandoning the inherent reality of happiness and play the endless game of struggle and separation. One thing you get from presence practice is the ability to catch the story early. These stories are all repetitious. Catch the snowflake before it's a snowball. Catch the snowball before it's an avalanche. Step back before the sequel is released. Simply walk away. It works. Sometimes. But maybe there's too much glue, and the story sticks. In sailing, if you see a dark cloud coming at you fast, you reel in the main. That is, pull in some of your sails so you don't get knocked down. You make yourself a smaller target. Many times, for me, this is as simple as getting out of the situation, moving to another room, making tea, taking a shower. Interrupt the story. Count to 10. Turn in circles, giggles, something that involves a physical change of position and a task. It's extraordinary not to practice our anger. An ability to interrupt our stories is major progress. When you're in the heat of the moment, perhaps already throwing up on someone, most likely yourself, or steaming like a pressure cooker, what if instead of repressing the anger, acting it out or blaming it on X, Y, or Z, You shine the light of your awareness right on the emotion rather than the object you think caused it. You lean into the upheaval like sailing into a hurricane, and then poof, there's an eye to the storm. You have to experience this. It's as though you're looking behind the emotion to see what it's made of. Behind most of my biggest emotional wins, I find tenderness. If you have enough presence, try stopping and leaning into the storm and see what you find. It's likely to be both disconcerting and dismantling. Milarepa sang songs about happiness and the path to happiness. In one song, he called these emotional upheaval bullies singing. Bring on the bullies. He was able to test his ability to let go, to be in joy against a formidable foe. Emotional upheavals push us beyond taming the haze of discursive thinking. They are the bullies that can own your joy, unless you school them first.